Okay, these are your notes for surface area and volume of cylinders. Now, cylinders, we've learned these formulas already. I'm going to show you how we've learned them. We're going to tweak them a little bit. We're going to think of a cylinder as a circular prism. Okay, where it's a prism, our bases are circles though. That's really what a cylinder is. That's the essential idea. Okay, we don't call it a circular prism. We call it a cylinder. It has a different name, but we can think about it as that. So I'm going to show you how to get the formulas. This is our formula for surface area of a prism. We're going to tweak this a little bit because our base is a circle. Okay, and we know how to find the area of a circle. The area of a circle is pi r squared. Alright, so we can switch that out for big B. That's the same thing as the area of the base, area of a circle. Now we also know how to find the perimeter of a circle. That's called circumference. I'm going to run out of room. Circumference. Okay? Now to find circumference, remember it's diameter times pi. So there's P. Now our formula for a prism, or for a prism, is 2B plus PH. We're going to switch out now. So it's 2 times pi r squared plus d pi h. Okay? And that helps us a little bit, because now it's more specific for our figure. We don't have to worry about remembering the base and the p and all of that. We've made it more specific, where we really only need to know the radius, because if we know the radius, or if we know the diameter, we could figure out the other one. Okay? That's the formula for the surface area of a cylinder. Okay? 2 pi r squared plus d pi h. Volume of a prism was V equals BH. Well, we said the base is a circle, so pi r squared h. And there's our volume for a cylinder. Again, we've made it more specific. Now all we need to know is the radius and the height. We've taken out some of the variables that we may or may not need to know with big B. Okay? So we're going to do an example. One example, we're going to find the surface area and the volume, both of them on this the cylinder here. So we're going to start with surface area, 2 pi r squared plus d pi h. Now I will say sometimes instead of having a d there, they'll say 2r, because the diameter is twice the radius. So you may see 2r instead of d. Either one's acceptable. They're really the same thing. Okay? So let's look at our figure here. We have 14 across the circle and 18 as the height. Now remember, that's the height because it's the distance from the two circles, from the bases. So that's the height. Let's fill in what we know. 2, I'm going to use 3.14, not the pi button on the calculator, 3.14 for pi. And then we need to know the radius. Well, 14 is all the way across, so it's the diameter. Radius is half of that, it's 7. So 7 squared plus diameter is 14. Use 3.14. And then the height is 18. And we can put this in the calculator. We'll approximate it to the hundredths place. So let's do this in pieces, because you have to do the exponent first. 7 squared is really 49. So let's start with that. Make sure we switch that out first. Plus 14 times 3.14 times 18. We're going to do it in two pieces. We'll do the first part and then the second part. So 2 times 3.14 times 49 ends up being 307.72 plus 14 times 3.14 times 18 gives us 791.28. And then we add those two together. So 307.72 plus 791.28 gives us 1,099 units squared. Okay? Again, it's squared because we found surface area. We found the area of the faces. Let's do volume now. Real quick before we do volume, I want to remind you that you're using 3.14. Do not use the pi button on the calculator because you would have gotten a different answer. It would be rounded different. So make sure you use 3.14. Volume, our formula is pi r squared h. Pi is 3.14. The radius we said is 7. We're going to square that times the height, which is 18. So 3.14 times 49 times 18. Now, a common mistake is people think that the volume formula is the second part of the surface area formula because they look about the same. We use almost the same numbers. They're not, because you're squaring the radius in volume, but in surface area, the diameter is 2 times r, not r squared, so they are different. You will get different numbers. So let's multiply these together. 3.14 times 49 times 18, and we end up getting 2,769.48 units cubed. Again, it's cubed because it's volume, 3 dimensions, length, width, and height. Okay? Last thing I want to talk to you about is an oblique cylinder, and you don't see these that often. You won't have that many problems that deal with them. But what an oblique cylinder is just a slanted cylinder. Formulas are the same for surface area and volume, and that's important to know. The difference is your height is outside of the cylinder. Normally in a regular cylinder, what we call a right cylinder, one that's straight up and down, the height is the distance between the two bases. Here, this h is the distance between the two bases, but it's not on a slant. Okay? So make sure that your height goes from one base to the other, from one circle to the other. That's the height you need, not the slanted height, the height that's perpendicular from one base to the other. Okay? Again, you won't see that many problems with that. I just want you to be familiar with what an oblique cylinder is. Formulas are the same. The only thing that's different is where your height's located. Alright, so for surface area and volume of cylinders, what you need to know, the formula for a surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r squared plus d pi h. 2 parts. It's right here if you need to write it down. Okay? The volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. Formula's right there if you need it. Make sure you know those, because those will be the important parts, important things from this video. If you have questions, go back and rewatch the example we did and see if it clears anything up. If you still have questions, bring them to class next time.